He thought the house was empty. He thought the woman inside was weak, and he thought a piece of paper was enough to throw them all into the street. What he did not expect was a former Navy SEAL standing in a red-black flannel, or the silent German shepherd at his side that never barked. One threat, one cruel mistake, and the regret came instantly. Before this night ends, justice will turn fast, fear will change sides, and one man will learn that some doors once opened by greed can never be closed again. If you believe choices have consequences, share this story. Comment below what you think should happen next, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories of instant regret, justice, and quiet strength. The house in the fog. Cold fog rolled in from the Savannah River thick enough to blur the streetlights and mute the sound of traffic. The city felt older at night, as if it remembered things people tried to forget. Grant Miller parked across from the narrow brick house on Whitaker Street and sat still for a moment. His left leg throbbed faintly, the old injury reminding him he had driven too long without stopping. He wore his usual red and black flannel sleeves rolled down against the damp air. Beside him, his German shepherd Jax lifted his head. The black harness on the dog's chest caught the glow of a street lamp. White letters stood out clearly. Service dog. Do not pet. Grant had survived firefights, ambushes, and silence that followed bad orders. None of that explained why his hand hesitated now. 4 years ago, he would have walked straight up and kicked the door if something felt wrong. Tonight he listened. There was light inside the house, not the harsh glare of intrusion, but the soft yellow of lamps left on for people who planned to come back. Grant frowned. The lawyer's call replayed in his head. A property transfer finalized this morning. You're the legal owner now. No mention of tenants. No mention of activity. Jax let out a low breath through his nose, alert but controlled. Grant trusted that more than instinct. He stepped onto the porch. The wood creaked under his weight, the sound sharp in the fog. His left foot lagged half a beat behind a habit now. The front door was closed, not forced. When he turned the knob, it opened easily. Warm air met his face. The smell of soup, onion, maybe chicken. A sound followed. A small laugh, then a hush. Grant took one step inside. In the kitchen stood a woman in her early 30s, medium height, slender from exhaustion rather than build. Her dark hair was pulled back, low, loose strands framing a tired face. She wore a gray hoodie, sleeves pushed up, hands gripping a spoon, as if it were something solid. Her eyes widened, but she did not scream. In front of her, half hidden behind the table, was a girl around 9. She had deep brown skin, tightly curled hair pulled into a practical tie, and eyes that missed nothing. Her posture was protective, her chin slightly lifted. She did not move. Near the doorway, a much smaller girl clutched a faded stuffed bear. 4 years old, maybe. Soft curls, wide eyes. She leaned into the older girl's leg without looking away from Grant. The woman spoke first. Her voice was steady, though her hands shook. I can explain. Grant's heart rate stayed low. That worried him. Rage would have been easier. He glanced once around the room. Clean floors. Dishes stacked neatly. A lived-in space. You're in my house, he said. It was not loud. It did not need to be. The older girl answered before the woman could. We know, she said. Her voice was quiet, careful. We're not stealing. Grant studied her. Too composed for her age. Too aware. The woman swallowed. My name is Rachel Brooks. I'm a nurse. I work nights. She gestured slightly toward the girls. This is Maya. And Lily. Maya did not nod. She kept watching Grant's face. Grant felt something tighten in his chest. He hated that feeling. It meant memory. It meant old rooms and promises that did not hold. Who gave you the key, he asked. Rachel hesitated. Not because she was lying, because the truth was ugly. A man from a housing program, she said. He said the house was vacant. He said it was meant for families like ours. Grant looked at the lock. Original. No damage. Maya spoke again. The picture on the stairs, she said. Don't straighten it. Grant's eyes snapped toward the hallway. Halfway up the stairs hung a framed photograph slightly crooked to the left. His mother had left it that way years ago. He had never touched it. How do you know that, he asked. Maya shrugged once. It always falls back if you try. Jax shifted beside Grant, placing himself half a step forward. Not aggressive. Present. Lily reached out, curious fingers brushing the air near the harness before Rachel gently pulled her back. Please don't, Rachel said quickly. We told her not to touch him. Grant noticed that. He filed it away. He should have called the police. The thought came clean and simple. Instead, he asked how long. 3 weeks, Rachel said. We can leave tonight if you want. Just give me 10 minutes to dress them. Maya glanced back at her mother. Her jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Grant looked around again. The house did not feel invaded. It felt occupied. That was worse. His mother had once said houses died when they stayed empty too long. He had laughed then. He was not laughing now. Not tonight, he said. Rachel blinked. What? Not tonight, he repeated. I need answers. You'll stay where you are. Maya studied him for a long second, as if weighing danger against exhaustion. Finally, she nodded. Okay, she said. We won't move anything. Grant turned slightly enough to meet Jax's eyes. The dog settled calm as stone. Grant did not know it yet, but somewhere in the fog outside, someone else was already making plans. And every step they took toward this house would come back to them faster than they expected. The first regret had already begun. A polite smile and a crooked offer. Morning broke damp and gray fog thinning into a fine mist that clung to the brick walls and turned the street slick and quiet. Grant Miller stood in the kitchen with a mug he had not touched. The red and black flannel hung loose on his broad frame, familiar armor. Jax lay at his feet, head up, eyes tracking every sound. The harness lettering was visible even in the low light. Service dog. Do not pet. Rachel moved carefully around the stove, reheating soup. She did not ask questions. That told Grant more than words ever could. Maya sat at the table, back straight, eyes alert. Lily colored on scrap paper, humming softly, unaware of the tension that pressed against the walls. Grant's mind stayed restless. 3 weeks. A key that fit. A story that made sense only if someone wanted it to. He had learned long ago that clean explanations often hid dirty hands. A knock came at the door. Jax rose in one smooth motion. Not barking. Waiting. Grant opened the door halfway. The man outside was mid-40s, average height, clean cut. Dark hair combed neatly, a smile practiced enough to look natural. He wore a light blue button-down shirt and pressed slacks, the kind of clothes meant to lower defenses. Grant Miller, the man said easily. I'm Derek Vance. I work with neighborhood development. His eyes flicked once to Jax, then back to Grant. The smile tightened a fraction. Grant did not step aside. "What do you want?" Derek chuckled softly, as if amused by bluntness. "I heard there was some confusion about this property. These things happen in older districts." His tone was smooth, reasonable. "I'm here to help everyone avoid trouble." Grant noticed the way Derek avoided looking into the house. That mattered. Rachel appeared behind Grant, hands folded tight. Derek's gaze slid to her quick and assessing. "And you must be the tenant," Derek said. "Ma'am, I'm sorry you're going through this." Rachel stiffened. She did not correct him. Maya watched from the table, eyes narrowed. She did not like him. Grant felt that before he named it. Derek turned back to Grant. "The city takes unauthorized occupancy seriously, but there are options." He produced a folder, holding it out without pushing. "If you sign temporary authority over to my firm, we can handle removal and compensation quietly." Grant did not take the folder. Compensation for who, Grant asked. "For you," Derek said, smile widening. "A clean sale, fast cash, no stress." Jax let out a low growl. One breath. Controlled. Derek froze, then laughed it off. "Good dog." Grant stepped forward half an inch. "He's working." Derek nodded, retreating that same half inch. "Of course." Inside, Grant felt the familiar click of suspicion locking into place. Derek had not asked questions. He had come with answers already prepared. That meant planning. "No deal," Grant said. Derek's smile thinned but did not break. "Think about it. Compassion can get expensive." He glanced past Grant, voice dropping. "People like this bring problems." Rachel flinched. Maya stood. "We're not a problem," Maya said quietly. Derek looked at her then. Really looked. His eyes hardened for a moment before smoothing again. "Of course not," he said. "Just unfortunate." He turned to leave, then paused. "Savannah rewards those who act quickly, Mr. Miller. Delay invites complications." Grant watched him walk down the steps and disappear into the mist. The door closed. The house felt smaller. Rachel exhaled shakily. "He's the man," she said. "Not him exactly, but someone like him. From the company." Grant nodded. "That figures." 10 minutes later, Grant's phone vibrated. A bank notification. He read it once, then again. A loan inquiry. Against the house, filed that morning. Grant's jaw tightened. That was fast. Too fast for coincidence. "I need to step out," he said. Outside, the mist had lifted just enough to reveal a patrol car easing to the curb. A tall officer stepped out. Late 30s, dark hair, cropped short, calm eyes that missed nothing. "Grant Miller," the officer said. "Tom Alvarez." Grant recognized the name. Savannah PD. Reliable. Not eager. "Someone poking your property records," Tom said. "Care to explain?" Grant did. Briefly. Tom listened without interrupting. Then he nodded. "Smells like paper crime. Not my favorite, but it sticks." He glanced toward the house. "You want advice?" Grant waited. "Don't sign anything. Don't push them out yet. People rushing like that make mistakes." Inside, Maya watched through the window. When Grant returned, she spoke before Rachel could. "He's lying," she said. Grant met her eyes. "I know." Jack settled back down but did not relax. Grant looked around the room. The quiet. The order. The fragile line holding it together. Someone had already tried to take something from him. They had done it politely, legally, almost, and that was where regret would begin. The night. The mask slipped, rain came hard after sunset, hammering the roof and turning the street into a ribbon of black glass. Thunder stayed distant, low, and patient, like it was waiting its turn. Grant Miller stood near the front window, red and black flannel buttoned to the collar. His left leg ached more than usual, the cold working its way into old damage. Jack sat beside him, harness straps snug, the white warning text catching the flicker of passing headlights. Service dog, do not pet. The house felt tight, not unsafe, pressurized. Rachel had moved the girls upstairs earlier than usual. She said it was for sleep, but Grant knew better. Maya had not argued. Lily had asked if the rain could get inside. Rachel had told her no, but she did not sound sure. Grant replayed Tom Alvarez's words from earlier that day. Don't rush. Let them show their hand. A knock cut through the rain. Not loud. Confident. Jax rose instantly. No sound. His body shifted forward, a silent question. Grant opened the door halfway. Derek Vance stood under the porch light, rain sliding off his neatly combed hair. His button-down was replaced by a dark jacket, now practical, but still clean. Behind him stood two men, both tall, broad-built, like they were meant to block doorways. One had a shaved head and a thick neck. The other wore a baseball cap, pulled low, eyes restless. Evening, Grant. Derek said, voice raised just enough to sound official over the rain. Sorry for the hour. Grant did not step aside. You brought friends? Derek smiled thinly. City inspection, noise complaint, unauthorized occupancy. He held up laminated cards. They looked convincing. Too convincing. Grant did not reach for them. Jax's gaze locked on the man with the shaved head. The man shifted his weight uneasy. We'll be quick, Derek said. Just need to take a look inside. No, Grant said. Derek's smile faded. This doesn't have to be difficult. Grant felt the familiar calm settle over him. The one that came before things went bad. You should leave. Derek sighed, irritation leaking through the polish. He turned slightly, murmuring to the men behind him. Check the back. Rachel's voice carried from upstairs, tight and controlled. Grant. He did not answer her. He watched the men move along the side of the house, boots splashing through puddles. Jack stepped forward, placing himself squarely in the doorway. His chest expanded, a low rumble rising, but stopping short of a growl. The sound was enough. Derek raised a hand. Easy. The porch boards were slick. Derek took a step back to gesture again, and his heel slid. He went down hard shoulder, slamming into the railing. His phone flew from his hand and skidded across the wet wood screen, lighting up. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Derek scrambled, grabbing for the phone. Too late. Get the papers from the safe, Derek snapped into the speaker. Hurry. The words hung there loud and clear, carried by rain and amplified by panic. Grant did not move. The man with the cap froze. The shaved-head man swore under his breath. Derek's face drained of color. He lunged for the phone. Red and blue lights washed the street before he could reach it. A patrol car slid to a stop at the curb, another behind it. Officer Tom Alvarez stepped out into the raincoat, already damp, expression flat. He took in the scene in one sweep. The men, the dog, the phone on the porch. Evening, Tom said. Looks like I caught the end of something. Derek opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Tom picked up the phone with 2 fingers. He did not smile. Funny thing about loud nights. They get recorded. The men in back backed away slowly. Tom's partner moved to block them. "We're not arresting anyone tonight," Tom said calmly. "But nobody's going anywhere." Rachel appeared at the top of the stairs, Maya beside her hand gripping the railing. Lily peeked out from behind her mother's leg, eyes wide. Grant felt the weight of their fear settle into him. It was sharp. Personal. Derek found his voice again. "This is a misunderstanding." Tom looked at him. Really looked. "No," he said. "It's a mistake." The word landed hard. After statements were taken and names recorded, the patrol cars pulled away. Derek and his men left on foot, soaked and silent. The rain softened. The house breathed again. Rachel sank onto the bottom step, hands shaking. Maya sat beside her, shoulders squared, but eyes bright with unshed tears. Lily clutched her bear, whispering that the dog was brave. Grant closed the door and leaned against it. His chest felt tight. Not from fear, from something older. The cost of staying still while others got hurt. "I won't let them do this," he said finally. Rachel looked up. "You don't owe us." Grant shook his head. "They made it my problem when they tried to steal my name." Maya met his gaze. For the first time, her expression softened. Just a little. Jax returned to his place at Grant's side, calm, restored, but alert. Outside, the rain eased into mist again. Someone had tried to move fast and clean. They had slipped instead. And the regret had come immediately. What the walls were hiding. Morning arrived pale and quiet. The rain washed away, leaving the air cool and heavy with the smell of wet wood and old brick. Grant Miller woke before dawn, seated at the kitchen table where he had not meant to fall asleep. The red and black flannel was still buttoned, creased now, as if the night had pressed itself into the fabric. Jax lay at his feet, head resting on his paws, eyes open, always watching. The harness straps were still on the warning clear. "Service dog. Do not pet." The house felt different after the night before. Not safer, more honest. Grant stood slowly, favoring his left leg, and walked the length of the hallway. His fingers brushed the wall near the staircase, stopping where the paint felt uneven. He paused. He did not know why, only that something pulled at him there. Rachel was already awake, sitting at the table with a mug she had not touched. Her face looked older in the daylight shadows, carved deeper by worry. She could not hide any more. "I didn't sleep," she said. Grant nodded. "Me neither." Upstairs, the girls were quiet. That worried him more than noise. Grant pressed his palm flat against the wall near the stairs. It shifted slightly. Not much. Enough. He frowned, then pushed harder. A section moved inward with a soft click. Behind it was a narrow cavity. Old. Deliberate. Rachel rose slowly, eyes widening. "What is that?" Grant reached inside and pulled out a small metal box, dust-coated, heavier than it looked. He carried it to the table and set it down carefully, like it might break something invisible. Inside were folded papers, yellowed at the edges. A letter on top. Grant recognized the handwriting immediately. His chest tightened. Rachel did not ask. She watched his face, reading the change there. Grant unfolded the letter. His mother's words met him without mercy. "If you are reading this, then the house has done what it was meant to do." He swallowed. She wrote about silence. About how empty houses did not just rot wood, they rotted people. about how she had seen women and children disappear through cracks no one noticed, about how she had decided that this place would never be one of those cracks. Grant's hands shook as he read. She knew, he said quietly. She planned it. Rachel sank into the chair. Planned what? Grant looked up, for this house to be a shelter, not charity. A pause. A place to breathe. Rachel's eyes filled. I didn't know, she said quickly. I swear. I thought it was a program. Temporary. I believe you, Grant said. The words surprised them both. Maya appeared in the doorway, then fully dressed, posture straight. She had been listening. Grant could tell. So that man, Maya said. He wanted the house because it was empty. Grant nodded. He wanted it because no one was supposed to fight back. Maya considered that. He didn't expect you. Grant almost smiled. Almost. The truth settled into him slowly, like weight finding its place. He had spent years avoiding rooms that reminded him of loss. His mother had seen that coming. She had built a trap. Not for criminals. For him. Jax rose and pressed his shoulder lightly against Grant's leg, grounding him. Later that afternoon, Tom Alvarez stopped by again. No uniform jacket this time. Just a plain shirt, sleeves rolled up, rain boots still muddy. We're building a case, Tom said. Derek's not as clean as he thinks. Grant handed him the letter. Tom read it once, then again, more slowly. She was smart, Tom said. She was stubborn, Grant replied. Like me. Tom nodded. That helps. He'll push again. Men like him don't stop when they slip. They panic. Grant looked toward the window. Let him. After Tom left, the house grew quiet again. Rachel prepared food without being asked. Lily followed Jax everywhere, stopping just short of touching him, whispering apologies to the harness. Maya sat on the stairs watching Grant like she was memorizing him. Grant fixed a loose porch board, then a hinge. Small things, things that stayed. Rachel watched him work. You don't have to do this, she said. I know, Grant replied. That's why I am. Rachel hesitated. We can leave. I don't want to bring danger to you. Grant straightened slowly, the familiar pull in his left leg sharp now. Danger showed up on its own. Maya spoke without looking up. Leaving doesn't make danger stop. It just moves it. Grant met her gaze. She did not flinch. Night came again, calmer this time. The fog did not return. Grant stood in the hallway outside a door he had not opened in years, his mother's room. He rested his hand on the frame. Not yet, he thought, but soon. Downstairs, Rachel tucked Lily in. Maya lingered in the doorway, watching Grant with quiet certainty. The house settled around them, boards creaking, as if adjusting to new weight. Somewhere nearby, a man named Derek Vance was realizing his mistake was larger than a fall on wet wood. And regret once started did not slow down. The door that stayed open. Clear night air settled over Savannah, cool and still, the kind that carried sound far and left no place for mistakes. Grant Miller stood on the porch in his red and black flannel hands resting loosely at his sides. The boards were dry now. His left leg twinged, a familiar reminder to pace himself. At his heel, Jax sat upright, calm, and coiled the black harness snug against his chest. The white warning was plain. Service dog. Do not pet. Inside the house was quiet, in the way it gets before trouble. Grant had not told Rachel everything. He had told her enough. Cameras were set where they would not be noticed. Motion lights aimed low, not to scare, but to reveal. He had learned in another life that people showed you who they were when they thought no one was watching. The fence gate clicked. Jax's ears lifted. Two shadows slipped along the hedge. Careful. Too careful. One figure crouched near the back door. Wire cutters flashing briefly in the porch light that should not have been on. Grant did not move. The light snapped on. The man nearest the door froze. He was young, lean, jittery. A hoodie pulled tight around his face. He spun and ran, boots skidding on gravel. The second man followed, less fast, heavier. He tripped on the irrigation hose, went down hard, and stayed there cursing. Jax rose and stepped forward, stopping exactly where Grant had taught him to stop. Not lunging. Blocking. Red and blue washed the yard before the heavier man could stand. Officer Tom Alvarez approached with 2 patrol units, posture relaxed, eyes sharp. He took in the cutters, the gloves, the man on the ground. "Evening," Tom said. "You look busy." The man said nothing. He did not need to. Derek Vance appeared at the edge of the street phone, pressed to his ear, suit jacket, open hair no longer perfect. He had come to supervise, not participate. He had not expected the lights. When he saw Tom, Derek stopped. When he saw Grant, he paled. Tom followed Grant's line of sight. "That your friend?" Derek forced a smile that did not reach his eyes. "I was just passing by." Tom nodded. "Funny. We were just talking about you." Derek started to speak. His phone chimed, then chimed again. Messages stacking. Missed calls. Panic had a sound. It was that. Tom stepped closer. "We have recordings," he said. "Calls, instructions, and a paper trail that doesn't like daylight." Derek's shoulders sagged. Not guilt. Calculation failing. The cuffs closed with a small final click. Rachel watched from the doorway, Maya at her side, Lily half asleep in her arms. Rachel's face held fear and relief in equal measure. Maya's gaze did not leave Derek until he was in the back of the car. "It's over," Rachel whispered. Grant shook his head slightly. "It's finished." After the cars pulled away, the house breathed out. Grant closed the back door and leaned against it for a moment, eyes shut. He felt the weight of choice settle heavy and right. "I won't make you leave," he said. Rachel looked up, surprised. "You don't have to decide tonight." "I did," Grant replied. "Tonight just proved it." Maya studied him. "For how long?" Grant met her eyes. "Long enough to be fair." He worked with Tom the next morning. The arrangement was simple and legal. Temporary residence with clear terms, protection from harassment, a path forward that did not depend on luck. Rachel read the papers twice. Her hands shook less the second time. "I can work extra shifts," she said. "I don't want." Grant raised a hand. "I don't want charity," he said. "Neither did my mother. This is time. Use it." Rachel nodded. She understood that language. That afternoon, Grant carried a ladder into the yard and fixed the gutter that had sagged for years. He replaced a broken latch. He set the porch light so it turned on at dusk and off at dawn. Maya brought him screws without being asked. Lily waved to Jax from a safe distance and whispered secrets he pretended not to hear. When the sun dipped, Grant stood in the hallway and looked at the door he had avoided. His mother's room. He rested his hand on the knob. Not everything had to be opened to be honored. He left the door ajar. That night they ate together. Soup, bread, nothing fancy. Grant took his time. He realized he had been rushing meals alone for years, as if speed could erase memory. "Will they come back?" Lily asked. "No," Grant said. "Because the dog," she said, pointing carefully at the harness. "Because choices have costs," Grant replied, "sometimes right away." Jack settled at his feet, the house steady around them. Later, Grant stood on the porch alone looking down Whitaker Street. The light stayed on. The door behind him stayed open. He had not chased anyone out. He had not closed himself in. The mistake had come for the man who tried to take what did not belong to him. The regret had come immediately. Sometimes God's miracles do not arrive as thunder or light from the sky. Sometimes they arrive as a closed door that refuses to stay shut, or as people placed in our path when our hearts are empty and guarded. Grant thought faith meant holding on to the past and protecting what was his. God showed him something quieter. Faith is opening your hands. Faith is choosing compassion when fear feels safer. Faith is trusting that doing the right thing, even when it costs you, is never wasted. In everyday life, we all face moments like this. A chance to turn away. A chance to help. A chance to believe that God is still working even through broken people and imperfect choices. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. Comment below and tell us where you've seen God's hand at work in your life. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next story of faith, justice, and quiet miracles. May God bless you, protect you, and guide your steps today and always.